Yeah, how you doing, everybody? I hope everybody's well. It's Thursday the 7th of October 2010 and it's just after lunchtime, and I was waiting for somebody to get back to me, give me a bit of information, but they haven't come back to me, so I'm I'm sort of betwixt and between, as it were. But I want to deal with something which happened that comes out of history. And I think it's pretty relevant to the situation we're in today. And what happened was, I was driving out to where I live yesterday. I was coming out of Dublin, and I drove along. I live about 50 miles away from it. It's a house called Carton, C-A-R-T-O-N, and it's on the edge of Kildare, outside the town of Maynooth. And the reason is that it was owned by a man called James Fitzgerald. It was built by him, and it, at the time, alongside another house beside it called Castletown, they were the two finest houses in Ireland. Now, to understand the size of this house, it's not comprehensible. It has probably hundreds of rooms, and it's a Palladian mansion, 18th century Palladian mansion, in thousands of acres, with its own lakes and tributaries coming off the River Liffey, and its own herd of deer, and you name it, it has it. Alright, so you might say, well, what is this guy going on? What the hell is all this about? I'm going to explain to you. Very simple. This man had a holiday home, and the holiday home was a house called Leinster House down in Dublin, and it's now our Parliament buildings. And again, you may say, where is this guy going? What's all this about? It's very simple. This man, at the time, James Fitzgerald, the Earl of Kildare, he was Earl of Kildare, Duke of Leinster. That's what his English title was. The Irish title was the Earl of Kildare. English title was he was Duke of Leinster. And through his marriage to one of the Lennox sisters, he was a first cousin to the king at the time, the Hanoverians, through lineage. Not through blood, but through lineage. Anyway, basically the situation was that this particular man, as I say, he was probably the wealthiest man in the world at that time. Certainly, if not the wealthiest, second or third. And the reason I raise all this is because first of all, the estate that he lived in, for one man, he had hundreds of servants. And down in Leinster House, they had another coterie of probably about 100 servants down in the middle of Dublin. As I say, it's our Parliament buildings now. And what went on in the 18th century then is kind of been imitated now by the incompetents and the morons that run our state. And it's an extension of a class war. And James Fitzgerald conducted a form of class war in the 18th century, but it wasn't quite, but I'm going to explain to you. James Fitzgerald was known as one of the biggest slavers in the world. In other words, in order to acquire the riches that he didn't acquire them through farming or through, no. He shackled black men and black women on their wrists and round their waists and round their neck and on their feet, and took them through the Dutch East India Company and sold them all around the world as slaves, particularly into the sugar plantations of the northern portion of South America and the Indies, the West Indies. That's how he made his money. It was a war. He conducted a war against black people, this man. Now, nobody tell you that. You don't read lovely fancy 18th century books all about Palladian mansions and they tell you that. But the cities of London and the cities of Dublin are built on the blood of black men. Millions of them. Black men. Hung up, trussed up, their children, their wives pillaged, raped, sodomized. You name it. That's conducted in the name of civilization. And it's going on today. A form of it is going to be conducted today.
ironically in one of the houses where it was originally conducted. The great slaver's house of Leinster House, down in the middle of Dublin in Kildare Street. The Earl of Kildare, Duke of Leinster, James Fitzgerald. His house. The same house. These muppets and these morons will conduct another war. That war will be against two classes in Ireland. The middle class and the working class. Won't be against the elites. No. Won't be against the 4,000 people who don't pay any tax in this state. Or the 700 people who are super rich who don't pay any tax. Oh no. Won't be conducted against them. It's been done in their interests. They're the people we've rescued. They're the people that we've rescued. What did the Anglo-Irish Bank and the Allied Irish Bank rescue? This whole thing is only beginning. This whole crisis that we're entering is only beginning. Starting now. It started in the last week or two. It was all talk until then. Now all the talking's finished. But the bottom line about it is a war is being conducted. A war. And it's always been that way. It's never been any different. Because in society is not an accident. This is a game we're acting out. This is a game. You're forced between a woman's legs when you're born. You're forced out into the world screaming and shouting. You don't want to go into it, but you're forced out into it, and a game is being played. And the game is, at the moment, we've already discussed it across numerable videos. I've done 250 videos, and I must have given over 20 into it now. That 10% of the people generally in Western capitalist societies own 83% of the wealth. 1% of them own 42% of the wealth. And they're making a play for all of the wealth. That's what this is going on now. This is a play for all of it. They're not happy with the 83%. They want all of it. They want you and your children and everybody else to be minions, chess pieces, pawns in their big game. So they can live out this lifestyle that they live. They don't pay any tax. They owe legitimacy to no country. They're not citizens of anything or anybody. They just waltz around the world. And that's what's going on in Ireland. Ireland's just a plaything to them. My little country with 5 million people in it. And what's going to happen is, as I say, the extension of this class warfare that went on basically from the time of the Romans and Greeks. They initiated it all. As they all realised at a very, very early stage, if all you have to do is give people bowls of fucking soup and exploit their labour. Now we've arrived at a double situation where not only are people's labours exploited, but they sell debt to people. They force debt on people to survive. So that's a double whammy sword. They have you through the fruits of your labour and through indebtedness. And they crush you the double whammy. Now, I want to call just one man to my defence in all this. I happened to be, when I was away the last time, one of the few papers that I could get to read was the New York Times. I want to quote from the New York Times, and it's the global edition of the New York Times on Sunday, September the 26th. And I want to quote you this man, okay? And I want you to listen to him. This is what he says about it all. He says, "There's class warfare, all right, but it's my class, the rich class, and it's us that's making the war, and we're winning." Just listen to this again. "There's class warfare, all right, but it's my class, the rich class, that's making war, and we're winning." Who do you think said that? I'll give you 5 guesses. It's very straightforward. It's a man called the Sage of Omaha, a man called Warren Buffett, the second richest man in the world. So, when he says what I say, I rest my case. And when people tell you there's no class warfare going on, it's all some sort of corporate conspiracy. Yeah, some corporate conspiracy, all right. Listen, I put that yeah, some corporate conspiracy, all right. Listen, I put that up and you can have a read of it, that article. Warren Buffett. Imagine that. Imagine having to call Warren Buffett as your main advocate. But that's what you have to do in the world at times. And that's the world we live in. That's the world at the present time. Class warfare, it's still going on. It's just a variant, it's just a subtle variant of what went on in the 18th century. They don't have shackles on you now, right? They've got intellectual shackles on you and social shackles. That's all. Listen, we'll talk later.